Hello, subscribers. I'm Black Bright News and I'm broadcasting out of the east of England. And today I wanted to talk about relationships. Got a tickle in my throat. Yes, I wanted to talk about relationships and what are they? And that might seem like a silly question, but I woke up with some thoughts, and I'm going to run it by you as I usually do and see what you think. That really and truly is quite obvious. I'm not going to tell you anything new. I'm just going to maybe give a different perspective about them. And what I came up with is that relationships are a series of exchanges. Now, even though we have different types of relationships, we have working relationships and we have romantic relationships, I'm actually talking about romantic relationships, which can extend into working relationships or any other kind of relationship for that matter. So, what did I come up with? Well, the Bible says, give and ye shall receive. Treat your brother as you would yourself. In Leviticus, it says, no exchange of land may be forever, for the land is mine, and you are my guests, living with me for a time. Meaning that we do not own anything, and we are in fact indebted to the Most High, and we're just being given permission to enjoy the land. And then the last one I'm going to mention is Genesis 47:16, where Joseph blatantly says, give me your cattle, and I will give you grain in exchange for your cattle. So when I was thinking about relationships, I was thinking about how we've probably skipped over it in the Bible because most of us think about relationships as being, getting married, having children, being romantically involved, fidelity, morality, stuff like that. And it's not to minimize those facets of a relationship, but it's about what is it really? When you first meet somebody, what do? You exchange words, you exchange emotions, you exchange feelings, you exchange experiences. And why do you do that? To build rapport, to build trust, to get somebody on side. You'll have a lot of reasons for that exchange. And we do it automatically. We do it even if we meet somebody at the bus stop. If we feel like it, we might say hello, hoping that that person will respond. When we have mutual exchange, which means I greet you in a certain way, you greet me in a certain way, it's, it's positive. And sometimes that can lead on to a wider exchange, more familiarity, more questions, more curiosity, and it might even lead to a date. But it all starts off with an exchange of words, an exchange of feelings, an exchange of emotions. So, think about when we arrange to meet somebody for the first time, which is what I said. What do? We usually exchange niceties. And why do we do that? We do that to build rapport, to build cooperation, to maybe get a reaction or a response. We exchange words for a reason. We don't just exchange them for the hell of it. Although maybe some people do. Maybe just some people do it to boost their ego, morale, whatever it is. But by and large, an exchange um, with a romantic partner is usually to facilitate cooperation and rapport. So, exchange in the form of communication means I want to get to know about you and I want you to get to know about me. You fill in the blanks. We exchange thoughts, feelings, emotions, depending on how safe we feel with that person we're communicating with. We exchange our history, our experiences, our failures, our achievements, i.e., information, seeking common ground to build trust. That is the purpose of a relationship, to exchange information. When you exchange information in the right way to the right person in a safe place, in a safe way, you actually can build on that and relationships get stronger and stronger. So we can exchange services. I mean, when you meet somebody, maybe it's just not about the romance. Maybe you need somebody to help you around the house. Maybe you need somebody to supplement you. People enter relationships for different reasons. So when you think about exchanging services, you ask yourself now, what can I do for him to enable him to do this for me? Once again, exchange. It's not as blatant as that, but a lot of people have it in their head, even if it's whether I want to exchange my commitment for marriage, I want to exchange my loyalty for a child, I want to exchange looking after my husband for fidelity or for him paying the bills. Whatever it is, there's an exchange going on, and it's not so much premeditated, it tends to be automatic. The person has in their mind already what they want. When a man approaches a woman, he has an idea about what he wants. It might be something as superficial as sex. It might be something like he just wants to take her out. He might want to just get to know a bit more about her. And what is he prepared to do to get that information? What is he prepared to exchange? Normally, it's a date. Sometimes it's a gift. Sometimes it's flowers. Maybe it's just chat. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a card. Whatever it is, there's an exchange going on. So each individual gets what they want. Um, when relationships go wrong, it is because the communication has failed usually, or one is doing too much, the other is doing too little. One is doing too much giving, the other one is doing too much taking. The balance has been tipped. You have employed versus unemployed, you have the rich versus the poor, you have one doing, one giving, one shows loyalty, the other one shows disloyalty, one is sincere, the other one is disingenuous. There's an uneven exchange which causes resentment. And that is when relationships break down. One feels taken advantage of, used, unsafe, unprotected, and obligated, and dissatisfied. So, how do we make the relationship work? Well, if we're going back on my theory about exchange, it's about fair exchange, isn't it? It's about mirroring behaviors so that you're on the same plane, you're on the same platform. You're playing the part. You know what pleases that person. That person knows what pleases you. So you do what you can to keep that person happy. And you choose someone who can offer a fair exchange so that there is no disappointment. And so that fair exchange could be intellectuality, it could be financially, it could be emotionally, it could be physically, it could be psychologically. So what about a change in circumstances? Sometimes you can enter this exchange, everything's even, everything is equal, everything is balanced, the exchange is fair. And then somebody has an accident, cannot work, or somebody the woman gets pregnant, or somebody decides that they want to go to college or university, or you have a situation where um, what else was I going? I had another example: accident, lose job, disability, and pregnancy. Yeah, any one of those things can tip the balance, can tip the exchange, can make the exchange uneven. What do you do in those circumstances when the exchange is no longer how you thought it was going to be? It's no longer mutual, it's no longer agreeable. Well, you need to work out an effective exchange. What can you trade so that you can both feel comfortable. How can you mitigate against the loss? So, yeah, one person is pregnant, the lady is pregnant, and you end up going to work and you have to kind of find out what can she do to help you. So you mitigate against the fact that she's not going to work anymore. So it could be she could be helping you with letters, she could be helping you with your business, she could be maybe just doing things around the house that you were both doing so you don't have to do it and you can put your foot up at the end of the day. Um, but it's about mitigating against that loss, against that imbalance. What can you do to even it out a little bit so it's not so one-sided? You know, one person is disabled, no longer can help you around as they used to, but they can do something. Maybe they can read you a story at night, or maybe they can make you laugh. Maybe they can, you know, just their company is enough. There are a lot of different things that can create not the exact balance because the situation has changed, but can change its, you know, so the impact is not so severe. So, what is the resolution? Well, accept that relationships are made up of two imperfect individuals, even though they seem perfect at the beginning. What is mutual and agreed exchange? So you're confirming and reconfirming what you've agreed, what you're exchanging, what you're getting in return. And that might have to be revisited every 6 months to a year. It may not if everything's going well. Mitigate against the imbalance, like I said, due to services finances. What can you do to so that the weight is not so much on one person, that there is you know, so there's less of an imbalance. Be consistent. Consistency is key, and stick with the exchange agreement. So whatever it is you decide you wanted, well, whatever it is was acceptable form of exchange, you stick to it. You don't kind of change midway and say, oh, I don't like it this way anymore, because that will cause problems. So let me know what you think about relationships just being a series of exchanges and whether or not you think it's a viable option, whether my solutions or resolutions are viable. And that's all for now. Bye bye.